Microsoft themselves have some really nice adoption tools. So they have an adoption toolkit that you can inject into your tenant. It's free, more importantly. And when somebody says to me, I want to measure adoption and is our change process actually working? Again, it's not about skills. I'm not measuring have people watch this video or have people pass this certificate. If I'm measuring adoption, it's are they using the tools that we have built for them to use going forward? So if we are trying to get people to stop using email attachments and start using OneDrive and Teams for our collaboration, then I should start to see those tools and that usage shift over time as the skills program and the awareness starts to take impact. So things like the usage statistics dashboards are really powerful way of helping you to prove that adoption is taking place. And so that's Microsoft. It's called the Adoption Toolkit, so it's free. You can just put it into your tenant. And when you think about those personas, those ways of working are a real key to any collaboration setup. You know, if you start targeting on-demand or champions or user support, always think about that targeted focus on those groups of users, those pathways. Those pathway learnings will really benefit users if they know that everything in there is focused on the way they work and need to do their job. If they can access it on their mobile, brilliant. If they can access it on their laptop, brilliant. If they can access it from home, even better. And it doesn't have to be about 365 necessarily. It could be, how do I use 365 to do this business process? And 365 may only be a part of that, but you can build those pathways to blend it. That is what becomes really powerful. So what we do know is that the success of this adoption and this change management process that we're putting into place is when all of these pieces are put into play. And as I said, don't try to do it all at once. It is a time thing. It's a sustainable piece. But think about, you know, we want productivity increase on the tools than we used to use. We want better business automation using the integrated Power Platform, for example. We want less blockers. So as Dimitri was saying, we want security. We want to manage the devices, but we don't want to stop users being able to do their job using those devices, else it just becomes prohibitive. It might be a case of people can use their iPhones, their personal ones, but we're going to control the business data on it, but we're not going to stop you using it. You also have to think about the topics that I've talked about. You also have to think about the fact that there is a generational approach for different types of users. And going back to the mobile user, you know, my kids, and I've got all my kids are under 23. Sorry, 25, I should say. And my daughter would tell me off for that one. I always forget she keeps getting older. So my kids have literally got a mobile phone super glued to their hand, right? I mean, I'm convinced if they actually turn their hand upside down, it still wouldn't fall off. So some people are more attuned to remote working and sort of device day in, day out. Other people are less accustomed to it, but going forward, it might benefit the way they work. So we have to think about these different approaches to different groups of users, bringing them on board. But the technology advantages outweigh not doing that. So we really need to think about that sort of dual approach to the different ways different generational groups of people think about using technology. And make sure IT and business and users are all on the same page. The adoption success will come from that multifaceted approach in that design. And always think about the fact that we are transitioning to new tools. We are transitioning to new ways of working than historically done. And Microsoft are going to ever evolve those tools. It's going to be a continuous evolution of what we've got available. So we are going to need to build that into your strategy. And I know that a lot of times people look at this and go, oh, I mean, that sounds like a lot of work. I guess if you put it all into one big bucket, it does look like a lot of work. But if you actually map it out and have a strategic time frame for it, it's actually not that bad when it's all laid out and set up with a strategy around it. So you just need the help in the right places, and that's really what we're trying to help with here. And so using that blueprint document, you can earmark the things that we've talked about where you think that we've got people that can do that we need help with. And that's the bit where we specialize in across the two companies.